identify that to get a remote job, I must have skills that would enable me access remote jobs. So he joined our AI automation engineering program in November last year, 2025. Okay, he completed his program in January 2026. So after 2 months, he completed his program. And in the same month that he completed his program in January 2026, he landed a remote job with a company in Canada as an AI automation engineer. Now, Olusegun didn't stop there. So the role was a contract role for 4 months. So it was a 4 months role, 4 months contract. Okay, so what did Olusegun do? He worked for 4 months. He gathered enough money, okay, enough dollars, and he went ahead to set up his own AI automation agency. So today, Olusegun is no longer just an employee. He has his own AI automation agency that helps businesses automate their processes. Okay, so if you have a business today and you get a lot of customer requests, what does Olusegun do? He would help you build chatbots that can get those questions from the customers and respond to the customers automatically. So he creates AI automation workflows, AI automation chatbots, and so on and so forth. And this was Olusegun. In November, he did not have this skill. He did not have this knowledge. He worked as head of operations for Easy Access in Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, so I'm just going to walk you through his LinkedIn and I'll come back very quickly. Okay, so let's look at Olusegun's LinkedIn very quickly. So this is Olusegun right here. Okay, so Olusegun worked as the head of business operations for Easy Access in Lagos, Nigeria. Then he joined our AI automation engineering program in November 2025. In January 2026, he completed his program and he got a job as an AI automation engineer / technical assistant with a company in Canada working remotely. So he worked from January to April, and in April, he set up his own AI automation engineering company, Luxeron AI Studio. This is somebody within the space of 2 months gained the skills needed, not just to set up his own company, but to work remotely for a company in Canada. How did he do it? That's the big question. And I'm going to walk you through. And the gentleman that will be joining us today, his name is Frank. Frank joined the Generative AI for Data Analyst program in November 2025, the same time Olusegun joined. Frank completed his own program in February 2026 this year. And in June, about 4 months after he completed his program, completed in February, got a job in June. So this month, as we speak, Frank got a job in June. And he got a job. He was a fresh graduate, like I mentioned. He was serving, doing his youth service in Rivers State. But Frank was very smart. He didn't just want to serve, complete his youth service, and start searching for jobs. So what did he do? He enrolled in our Generative AI for Data Analytics program, and he learned while he was serving. Okay, his background is in education. He was studying education in the university. He studied education in the university. So while he was serving, he joined us in November 2025. He completed his program in February 2026. And 4 months after, in June, when he got the interview invite, he reached out to us. He had completed his program in February. He was done. But we have a community whereby when you complete your program, you're not completely done. You still join the community. You are a part of the community so that when you have interviews, we still prep you for interviews. So we prepped Frank for his interviews. We did a lot of coaching sessions for him, and he landed his first role in Anambra State, Nigeria, with a UK-based company. Now, this UK-based company is trying to bring in some new solar innovation into the country, and they need somebody to carry out surveys, analyze the survey data, and tell them exactly the type of customers, the customer demography. But Frank would speak a little bit about what the role entails, because he's going to come in to speak, and you get to hear from him yourself. And the job title of Frank's role is a data survey officer and analyst. Last year, Frank was a youth corper. In the space of about 6 months, Frank now works remotely for a UK-based company as a data survey officer and analyst. And the big question is, how did Frank land this job? How did Olusegun land a job in Canada? How did Frank land a remote job for a UK-based company in a short period of time? What did they do? Okay, so I'm going to tell you what they did step by step. Now, what I want you to do is, I'm sure you have a pen, you have a notepad, so you take these things down. I'll give you 5 things that it did, and then I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to ensure that you're also able to get the same outcome. Okay, and by telling Frank's story, I'm also telling my story, the exact things that I did, the mistakes that I made, and how Frank did not make those same mistakes, because he was able to learn from my years of experience working with so many organizations, and also looking at how I transitioned. So number one thing that Frank did that enabled him even apply to jobs like that was what? He learned a high demand skill. He did what? He learned a high demand skill. A skill that is eligible for remote job opportunities. That's number one strategy. So when I worked as a data analyst, I beg your pardon, when I worked as a management consultant, because I started my career as a management consultant with FITC. FITC is a company owned by the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Bankers Committee. So the Bankers Committee comprises of all the commercial banks, also comprises of the NDIC and the central bank. So it was in the financial services sector. So I worked as a management consultant for them, but I wasn't fulfilled. I wanted more. Okay, it wasn't really about the pay. I wanted to get a job whereby I could deliver something and I would see the impact of what I've delivered. Okay, so, and that was where I started to search for other opportunities. And then I came across data analytics. All right, and I started to learn data analytics. I made a lot of mistakes. It was very difficult, and I'll highlight some of the mistakes that I made. But more importantly, I made that decision that I'm not just going to leave this amazing company, because the company was amazing. Okay, that was where I started my career in the financial services sector. Salary was good, the job was good, but I wanted more. Okay, I could have left and start searching for jobs, which is a mistake a lot of people make. But what did I do? I learned a high demand skill, a skill that would make me competitive. No matter where I go to, that skill will be relevant. If I leave Nigeria and I move to South Africa, the skill is, still relevant. If I leave Nigeria and I move to the UK, if I leave Nigeria and move to Canada, I move to the US, it's still a high demand skill. So I decided to go for it. Because when you do that, you make getting a job 10 times easier, because employers are already searching for you. So that was the first thing that I did. And as I learned data analytics, that made me leave. I left FITC, okay, and I moved to Sahara Power Group, okay, or Sahara Group Limited. So within Sahara Group, you have different other companies. One of them is SPG, Sahara Power Group. So I moved to Sahara Power Group, and I worked with them as an MIS analyst, business data analyst, and so on. That was exactly what Frank did. So I looked at what I did, and using that same strategy, how can other people do the same? So learn a high demand skill. All right, that's number one. So when you do this, getting a job becomes a lot easier, because you can see the type of jobs to apply to. And when I moved out of Nigeria, I moved to the UK. I left Nigeria in 2022 and I moved to the UK. 1 month after I left Nigeria and I moved to the UK, I landed my first job in the UK. So a lot of people would move to the UK and they would say, hey, you need to work as a care worker. Okay, who is a care worker? A care worker are people that take care of elderly people or people that can't take care of themselves. I didn't want to do that. Okay. And I was able to get a job in the UK within a month because I knew exactly what was required to get a job. And I had the skill to compete for the best type of jobs available. So it's non-negotiable that you must learn a high demand skill. So that's number one strategy for today. If you are good, you understand what I've just explained by learning a high demand skill, give me a thumbs up. And I'm going to tell you the high demand skill you need to learn, but give me a thumbs up if we are all on the same page. Fantastic. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so let's move on. So what type of skills for somebody like Frank, who's going to come back to tell us what he did, getting into generative AI for data analytics is one of the best type of skills you can get into. Okay, so what did Frank learn when he joined, and how did Frank learn when he joined? So as a generative AI data analyst or an AI data analyst, you'd learn a couple of skills and you'd learn a couple of technologies, and I'm going to highlight them for you. Okay, so number one is the foundation of data and generative AI for data analytics. So here you are learning, because as a data analyst, what was I doing? Let me explain what I did when I worked with Sahara Power Group as a management information systems analyst, MIS analyst. It's a fancy way of saying data analyst, okay? What did I do for them? Now, Sahara Group, Power Group, for those of you in Lagos, you know Ikeja Electric, you might know Egbin Power PLC. If you know Egbin Power PLC, give me a thumbs up. A lot of people don't know that there is a power generating company like Egbin Power PLC. But if you know Egbin Power PLC, give me a thumbs up. Okay, so a lot of you know Egbin Power PLC. For those in River State, you know FIPL. If you're in River State, you know FIPL. Give me a thumbs up. FIPL, First Independent Power Limited. Give me a thumbs up. Usman knows. So I worked with Sahara Power Group, and Sahara Power Group owns Ikeja Electric. They own Egbin Power PLC, and they also own FIPL. Okay, FIPL and Egbin Power PLC are power generating companies. Ikeja Electric is a power distribution company. Now, the owners of the business always wants to know what happens in the business. Okay, what happens from a data-driven perspective? How much energy are we meant to generate? How much energy did we generate? How much energy are we meant to distribute? How much energy did we distribute? All right, they want to have insight into what is going on in the different units, the different departments, by getting data, analyzing that data, and giving them recommendations on what to do based on the data that we've generated. And I'll give you a very good example. There was a location in Lagos where the company was losing millions, hundreds of millions every single month, about 600 million every month, a particular location in Lagos. So whenever we did our analysis, we get the energy data we generated, the data, the energy we distributed to that location, we realized that there was always a shortfall. We're losing money. So the question was, why are we losing money and what do we need to do? So as an MIS analyst, what did we do? We recommended, solutions. Okay, let's go into that location. Let's speak to customers within the location and let's gather data from them. Let's generate data from them using a survey instrument. And that survey instrument, we ask a couple of questions. We look at where your meter is located, how many bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and so on and so forth. And we could see a pattern. At the end of the exercise, I'll summarize, we realized that people that had their meters hidden, maybe at the back of their house or at the side of the house where it is not open publicly, we had more losses in that location. Okay, people that had their meters not publicly visible. So before you can see the meter, you have to go into the compound, maybe go to the back of the house. In fact, when we're carrying out that exercise and we had to check people's meters, sometimes I got scared. Where's your meter? They say it's at the back. You have to go to the back through corners. And in my mind, I'm like, I hope somebody will not just kidnap me here and so on. But I mean, that's just on a lighter note. So that was one of the things we realized. And if you're on this call and you're a Nigerian and you live in Lagos, and you realize and you see the pattern that the energy losses are mostly within buildings that have their meters hidden. It's not in the front of the house, it's at the back of the house. What do you think is happening in those houses that is leading to the loss of energy? Type in the charts if you think you know what goes on and why energy gets lost in houses like that. I want you to type what you think in the chat. Type what you think in the chat. Bypass, Chukwebuka. Energy thefts, bypass, absolutely. I love that, Chukwebuka. You're very fast and very smart. So you can see that we started with a problem. There was a problem in the company. We were losing money every single month, hundreds of millions, and we narrowed it down to a specific location. And the reason why we're able to do that is simply because we could get the data, and in different locations, how much energy did we send, how much energy did we receive. And based on that analysis, we recommended and said, let's go there, let's get more data, and let's see why we are losing energy. And we noticed after we did the analysis that houses with the meters that are not visible are the houses where we have high energy losses. And like Chukwebuka said, that means what? Bypass. Now, you can see how that problem got resolved. Of course, so many things were done afterwards to resolve the issue, but that's the importance of data in any organization, all right? So you get data, analyze the data, and tell the business this is what you need to do based on the data that you've analyzed. As an AI data analyst, you are simply making that job a lot easier for yourself. Okay, so as an AI data analyst, you're going to learn the foundation of data and generative AI. So you'd learn how to write prompts to clean your data, summarize the data, extract the data. You'd learn how to create automation to deploy survey to customers, get feedback from them. And with that feedback, you're able to analyze and see what is happening. You'd learn Microsoft Excel and Copilots. These were the skills that Frank learned. You'd learn how to clean messy data. So data usually comes in a form that is not usable. Okay, if you use the data the way it comes, you're likely going to get the wrong results. So what do? You clean the data first of all, which takes 80% of your time, data cleaning. So how do you ensure that you are able to accelerate the time it takes for you to clean your data using AI tools, using Excel, using Copilot? I'm going to show you how Copilot works today in Excel. We're going to look at it together. You'd see how Copilot works. All right. So you'd learn how to perform analysis, build dashboards. You'd also get to learn Power BI, Copilot, and AI-driven dashboards. So how do you build amazing dashboards using Power BI? I'll show you some of the dashboards that Frank built. That's Frank, the graduate who got a job this month in June. Amazing dashboard using Copilot, using AI-infused tools to ensure that he generated amazing visuals. Okay, you'd learn enterprise AI analytics and deployment. You'd learn how to build AI-powered data storytelling. You'd learn how to create dashboards and auto-generate explanations from that dashboard. You'd learn how to deploy analytics solution for an entire business. All right, you'd learn the modern AI tools. We're going to use one of them today. Okay, we'll use Copilot and we'll get to use Notebook LM, two AI tools. Copilot is in Excel. Notebook LM is a Google tool for building presentations and so many other stuff. I'll show you how to do that. We're going to use that today. But you'd learn how to use Quadratic. AI, for example, to carry out analysis very fast at the snap of a finger. You learn Julius AI, you learn Julius AI, you learn Quadratic, you learn how to use Bricks AI, Zebra AI, and so on and so forth. You also get to learn AI automation, building the data AI analyst, the AI data analyst. So you learn how to build AI agents that you can build to help you get data. So you are building your own employees. You are one employee, but you build more employees to help you get data, to help you clean the data, to help you analyze the data, to help you report the data using tools like N10 and so on and so forth. All right. And of course, you're also going to participate in a capstone project which is like a hackathon style project for yourself. These are the tools you need to learn. I learned some of these tools. Frank learned these tools, and that enabled him land the job. And you'd see how some of these tools work. Okay, we're going to do something in maybe 5-10 minutes, and you'd see how these tools, like Copilot, for example, in Excel. Copilot is a Microsoft AI, agent that gets to do stuff for you. It's in Excel, it's in Power BI, it's in Microsoft Fabric. We're going to see how it works. Okay, so how did Frank learn? Frank learned every Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So every Saturday for 2 months, Frank would join a class and learn for 3 hours, learning how to use these tools to solve problems and so on. And that gave him the skills he needed to start applying to the type of jobs he wanted to get. Okay, so every other day apart from Saturday, you have something called the learning management system, where you go, you watch videos at your own pace. So it's a self-paced part of your learning. So you learn at your own pace, anywhere, any place, anytime, and so on. Okay, I'll show you what the LMS looks like. This was how Frank learned, and Frank was able to land a job, high-paying job. Okay, so you're going to do this for 2 months, 8 solid weeks. Week in, week out, you're working on projects, you're solving problems, and so on. And this is the first thing you have to do. Remember, number one strategy is what? Learn a high demand skill that is what? Eligible for remote job opportunities. And this is what you need to learn. So I'm going to show you what Copilot looks like. We're going to test the power of Copilot. We'll test the power of Notebook LM within the next 10 minutes. And then I'll tell you the remaining 4 strategies that you must have in order to easily land a job. You want to work remotely, you want to get that promotion, and so on and so forth. Okay, so what task are we addressing today? Now, you're an AI data analyst and you have an urgent task. And what's that task? You work for a travel company, and that travel company, the travel company was established in 2021. It has been a leading player in the travel industry. However, between 2024 till date, the company has faced financial challenges, and the period has been marked with a significant downturn in revenues and profitability. So between 2024 till date, the company has been losing money. All right. And as an AI data analyst, you need to find a solution to this problem. Now, what was resolved to be done is, let's gather data from the customers. Okay, let's ask them what they want. Okay, you used to patronize our services before. What's going on? Let's find out what they want. So if we know what our customers want, we can tailor our travel packages to fit the needs of our customers. Right? So if we had more time, I'd have done this project with you end to end. End to end meaning that we'll design that survey instrument. The instrument would use to collect the data. We'll design it together. And after designing it together, we're going to connect it to our reporting tool, like a Power BI or an Excel, and we do our analysis. But we don't have enough time for that. So what I'm going to do for you is, the data has already been collected. We're going to use that data in Excel and Notebook LM. So we want to analyze the data that we've collected from our customers And we want to present to management, to tell the management that this is what we have to do if we are going to reverse the downturn in revenue. If we want to increase revenue, we want to increase profitability, we have gotten the data from our customers, we know what they want, we've analyzed that data, and this is what we have to do. That was what I did with Sahara Power Group. I analyzed data from Egbin Power PLC, Ikeja Electric, FIPL, and I'll tell the owners of the business who are billionaires, in dollars, and they don't care about your Power BI or your Excel or your notebook LM or your, whatever tool you have used. They just want to know, Adeza, what should I do? Adeza, what should we do? What's the recommendation you're coming up with? Where do we have issues? And what's the solution to it? That's your responsibility. So that's the exact same thing you are doing here. You work for this travel company and you've gotten the data from the customers, and you want to tell the owners of this business exactly what they need to do. So you have a very important job, okay? So we're answering 5 key questions today. Number 1 question is, we want to know how many customers responded to the survey that we sent out, and what's the gender distribution? What percentage were male, what percentage were female? Number 2, we want to know, when will customers like to travel? Do they like to travel in January? Do they like to travel in June? Number 3, we want to know, where will they like to travel? Do they want to go to Canada? Do they want to go to the Maldives? Do they want to go to Monaco? Where would they like to travel to? We want to know. Number 4, we want to know, will the customers prefer to travel alone, or will they prefer to travel with family? So we can start to design packages for them. And finally, we want to know, what's their preferred mode of transportation. So when they get to their destination, how would they like to, move around? Would they like to move around using the train, the tram? Would they like to move around by hiring a car, getting a car, renting a car to move around? We want to answer these 5 questions. And our data looks like this. Remember, we collected the data from our customers, and it looks like this. But I want to ask you 2 questions from the data today. And then before we carry out our analysis and see what the analysis would give to us. Okay. So this is when our customers responded to us. The gender of our customers, the destination they want to travel to, the time they want to travel. So 1 represents January, 12 represents December, which means 2 is February, 3 is March, and so on and so forth. Okay. Type of activity. Do they like group activities or individual activities? How would they like to travel? With friends, travel alone, travel with family? How would they like to transport themselves when they land in their destination? Okay. So let me ask you 2 questions from this data that you can see. And number 1 question I'd like to ask is, when will the customers like to travel? When during the year will they like to travel? So we can see we have what? The time the customers would like to travel. So my question is when during the year? Take a wild guess. Yes, you don't have all the data, but from what you can see, take a wild guess when the customers would like to travel. Is it in January? Is it in February? Is it in March? Is it in June? When? Is it in April, May? Chukwebuka says July. Okay. Oyeyemi says November. So we have July, we have November, we have December. Basil says November. Modupe Ola says December, November. Okay, so we have July, we have November, we have December. Are we correct or are we wrong? We're going to find out. Okay, now the second question is, where will the customers like to travel? Where exactly? Which country would they like to travel? What's their destination? Preferred destination. So again, just take a wild guess. Chukwebuka says Berlin. Alimat says Berlin. John says Berlin. Okay. Adeyemi says Berlin. Adeyemi, is that the way you spell your name? Or that's a funky way of saying Adeyemi? Okay, MS says, Edem says Berlin. Okay, everybody says Berlin. That's fine. Oh, that's the way you spell it. Fantastic. That's interesting. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get that data into Excel and we're going to analyze the data. Now, normally, the way you would analyze this data is to use some certain functions, do a VLOOKUP, do a pivot chart. We don't actually need a VLOOKUP here, but you would normally do a pivot chart. You know, you can do a sum if, use all these functions, but we're not going to, waste our time doing that. We want Copilot to do it for us. Now, not all Excel, for you to have Copilot on your Excel, you need to have an Office 365 account to get Copilot. Okay, so Office 365 account. Once you have an Office 365 account, you get Copilot. We'll show you how to do that and how to get it for free when you join the program. That's something we show you how to do. So I'm going to go into Excel. Okay, so let me launch Excel. I'll show you what the data looks like, and let's answer these 5 questions. We have 5 questions to answer, don't forget. But I've asked you 2, and you've given me, you said July, November, December, and Berlin, Berlin, Berlin. Okay, so let's see, and let's find out if you are right or wrong. So I'm going to open up the data. Let's see what the data looks like. Okay. Let me know if you can see my Excel. We can see my Excel. Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, fantastic. Thanks for that, Elijah. So this is what our data looks like. Okay, and this is Microsoft Excel. At the down right corner, you'd see Copilot. That's Copilot. Okay, and Copilot would help us answer this question. So I'm going to tell Copilot to do what? Answer these 5 questions for me, and don't just answer the 5 questions. Give me the recommendation. Give me a summary of the analysis and the recommendation I should give management. Then I'm going to use Notebook LM to create a consultant quality presentation slides. Okay, give me a consultant quality presentation slides that I'll present to management and tell them what I want them to do. All right, so let's use Copilot. I'm going to click on Copilot so you can see, okay, add data insights, improve formatting, add a formula. I don't want any of this. I'll just click on Copilot and it opens up this, this bar right here at the right hand side. Okay, so let me extend this a little bit. All right. Now, I want to describe to Copilot what I want to do. So this is pretty much like you using a large language model like a ChatGPT, a Claude, Gemini, and so on. But here we are doing it inside Microsoft Excel. Okay, so I'm going to use a prompt. I'll use a prompt. So I have the prompt already. I'm just going to copy the prompt and use. I'll send the prompts to you at the end of our session today. And again, don't forget, if you want to get everything I'll be sharing with you today, fill the attendance. The only way you get everything I'll be sharing, from my slides to the prompts to the recording, make sure you fill the attendance form. My colleagues Deborah and Uche Chuku would paste the link in the chat from time to time. Just make sure you fill. Okay, so I'm going to copy the prompt and I'll paste it in Copilot. Okay, so I've copied and I'll paste. I'll read it out and you'll see what it says. Okay, so I'm telling Copilot to do what? Analyze the travel survey data set and create a concise report with charts and percentages for the following questions. The first question is what? We've asked that question already. How many people responded and what is the gender distribution, right? Question number 2, when will the customers like to travel? You guys have tried to answer. You said July, November, and December. Where will the customers like to travel? Where? Okay. And will customers prefer to travel alone or with family? What is the preferred mode of transportation? And finally, Provide an executive summary highlighting the 5 insights from the survey and any recommendations for a travel business targeting these customers. That's all. So rather than me going to insert a chart, trying to do it myself, or me going to create a pivot table and try to create pivot charts, I just send in this prompt. And that's why prompt engineering is also very important. So we teach you prompt engineering. So you know the right type of prompt. It's not just you typing what comes to your mind. Okay. So I'm going to click on send, and Copilot will do his magic. All right. So it takes about 3 to 5 minutes, depending, but Copilot is going to do his magic, and it will come up with all the charts and everything that we need. It's as simple as that. And once we do that, what do? We're going to take the insights, we'll take the recommendation, and we'll do what? We'll turn that into Notebook LM. Because remember, like I said, the owners of Sahara Power Group don't really care. They don't care if you used Power BI, if you used Excel, if you used whatever. Just tell me what is happening and give me recommendations on what we need to do. So we used to have something we called MIS sessions, and our MIS sessions is designed. You can see Copilot is building for me. I'm not doing anything. I'm not touching anything. See my hands, not touching anything. Copilot is building. So we used to have something called MIS sessions, and those MIS sessions are sessions where we go to present, and we present to management, showing what we've analyzed, telling them what they need to do, and so on and so forth. Okay, so Copilot is done. Fantastic. So you can see responded in 4 steps, created survey reports with 5 charts, executive summary, recommendations. Okay, so key findings: 373 respondents, top destination is Paris. So let me ask that question again. So you can see that you've already gotten it wrong. For those of you that said Berlin, because you could see Berlin in front of my screen. So everybody said Berlin. So let's see it a little bit clearer. So now let's look at this first of all, okay? When is the preferred month of travel? When will people like to travel? I want one answer. When will people like to travel? Looking at this chart right here, just type into the charts now. If you've seen it, type into the chart when people would like to travel. Chukwebuka says December. Alimat says December. So now we can see it's very clear. We didn't need to hustle. We didn't need to spend time. Copilot did it for us. Okay. Thanks, Anifowoshe. December. Now, preferred travel destination. Everybody said Berlin. Interestingly, Berlin is the least preferred travel destination. So what's the preferred travel destination using this chart right here? Just type into the chart. Let me know what you can see. Paris, Chukwebuka. Fantastic. So let's get more feedback very quickly. We still have Notebook LM. We're going to take this, we'll put it into Notebook LM, and Notebook LM would go generate a fantastic presentation for us. Susan says Paris, Alimat says Paris, Ahmad says Paris, Larry says Paris, Abigail Paris. Fantastic. So we've answered the 5 questions using 5 charts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have a summary. I'm sure we have a summary somewhere. Let me check. Okay, I can't even see. I can't see my summary. Okay, yeah, here's the summary. I almost missed it. So you can see the executive summary right here. Okay, and you can see the recommendations right here. Now we're going to take this and use it to develop a PowerPoint presentation. And I'm going to do this very fast. So what I'll do is I'll open up PowerPoint. Okay, I'll open up a blank presentation on PowerPoint. Okay, so blank. I'll take this out. I'll take this out. So what I want to do is to create a slide, and I'll feed that slide into Notebook LM. All right. There are better ways of doing it, but because of time, we can't do anything too complex. So let's go here. I'll come right here. I'll copy all my charts from here. So I'll copy everything, gender distribution. I'll hold down the control key on my keyboard so I can copy more stuff. I'll copy the travel preference. I'll copy the, preferred travel month, preferred transportation, and the preferred destination, right? I copy the 5 charts, Control C to copy, and I go back to my PowerPoint, and then I'll paste. Okay, I'll paste, and I'll use this paste, and I'll say, keep source formatting, the source formatting, okay? So I'll come here and I'll paste. So I'll just quickly adjust this, the size. I'm not particular about how great it looks right now because Notebook LM would do everything for me. I just want to get everything into this slide. You can do 2 slides, you can do, more than 1 slide, but let's just do this. I'll make this smaller to fit. I just want it to fit, okay? Let's put this right here. I'll also make this smaller. I'll put it right here. Sorry. Okay, put it right here. I'll make this smaller as well so it fits into my slide. Put it right here. And then I'll go copy my recommendations and suggestions from, Copilot in Excel. So let's go back to Excel. I'll go to the summary right at the top and I'll copy everything right here. Okay, so I'll just select it and Control C to copy. I go back to my PowerPoint presentation and I'll paste. I'll come right here, paste as text, keep the text only. So I click on that, and then I'll just come to adjust again so that it doesn't overlap on the slides. So let's adjust this slightly, and I'll reduce my font size. Okay, so just so that it fits. That's all. That's it. Okay, that's all I need to do. I'm just getting everything into one slide. Everything into one slide. Okay, that's all I'm doing. So I'm going to save this file. I'll save as, and I'll simply save this as presentation. Let's save it as presentation 1, 2, 3. Okay, presentation 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to save it right there, and I'll close. And then I'll go to my Notebook LM. So Notebook LM, anybody can have access to it as long as you have a Google account, a Gmail, or whatever the case is. All right. So I can use Notebook LM. Let me use this. Okay. Let me use this to go to Notebook LM. So, or you can type in your chat. If you don't have an account, you can just type Notebook LM. Okay, and you see the Google Notebook LM. All right. Once you open that, okay, so it's going to ask you to, try to create an account, get the app, and all of that. So try Notebook LM. Welcome to Notebook LM, and so on and so on. Okay, just click on OK. Now, Notebook LM is going to ask you for your source. What's the source you want to use to create that slide you want to create? Okay, so I'm going to upload a file. So I'll go to Upload Files. I'll go to Presentation 1, 2, 3 right there. Okay, and I'll click on Open. Okay, so I'm going to upload that into Presentation 1, 2, 3. So you'd see it's uploaded. Notebook LM would immediately, summarize what I have. That same slide I just quickly put together. So Notebook LM is summarizing strategic travel insights and market growth recommendations. Okay, so what do I want to do with this? That's what Notebook LM is asking. So first of all, I want to create slide deck. First, I want to create a slide deck. Okay. Secondly, I need to enter a prompt. I want to tell Notebook LM exactly what I want it to do for me. So I'll click on slide deck, number 1. So it's already creating my deck. Sometimes this takes time. Okay. Sorry, I clicked on it instead of clicking on the button. So it's already generating for me. Let me see if I can stop this by refreshing. Okay, it's still going to create it for me. All right. So what I want to do is to click on the arrow, not on the icon itself. So I'm going to click on the arrow and I want to type in what I want my deck to look like. Okay, describe the deck, the slide deck that you want to create. Describe, so that Notebook LM knows exactly what you want to create. Okay, so I have another prompt. I'm going to copy that prompt. Like I said, I'm going to share all of these with you so you can go back and do it yourself. But more importantly, prompt engineering is very important to get the exact type of results that you want. So I'll paste this here and I'll read it out so you see what the prompt looks like, okay? Or what exactly we want to create. So I'm telling Notebook LM to do what? Act as a senior management consultant from McKinsey, from Bain, and Deloitte. These are 3 of the top 4 management consulting firms in the world. So act like a senior management consultant from any of these organizations, and an expert executive presentation strategist. My presentation is to executive management. So I'm saying act like a management consultant from McKinsey, Bain, Deloitte, and an executive presentation strategist. I already have the charts, data analysis, and recommendations from Excel Copilot. Your task is to create a concise executive level presentation script that I can use to present these charts to senior leadership. Okay, so for each chart and recommendation provided, write a strong executive slide title that communicates the insights, provide 30 to 60-second presenter script, what the chart shows, and so on, and end with the final executive summary. Provide the top 3 insights from the survey, the top 3 business opportunities, and the top 3 recommendations for immediate action. And I click on what? Generate. Okay, and I click on what? Generate. So it's going to generate, I think from the second one, would see Notebook LM can take a while. So it takes about maybe 5-10 minutes sometimes, depending on the complexity of the type of slide you want to create. So we're going to come back to Notebook LM when it's done. It's cooking. We're going to do what? Let it cook. So let it cook. We'll come back and see what Notebook LM has done for us, and we'll see what our presentation looks like. When the presentation is ready, this is what you take to management and say, I have a 10-minute presentation to show you what we can do to help our company increase its revenue, to help our company design packages to suit what the customer needs, so we get more customers and we are able to satisfy and get more revenue from these customers. These were the type of skills that enabled Frank get a job with a UK-based company who was coming into Nigeria with solar solutions, and they wanted to understand the customers they were coming to serve. And they hired Frank as a data survey officer and analyst. And the reason Frank was able to do this job was simply because he had the skill to do the job. So don't forget, number 1 is doing what? Having the skills required. This normally would have taken maybe 2 hours, 3 hours to complete, but we're going to do it in about less than 10 minutes, or do it in about, let's say, maximum 15 minutes. And that's the power of using tools like Copilot and using tools like what? Notebook LM. We've not seen the presentation yet, but I tell you, the presentation would also be fantastic. From the rubbish we did, just getting the charts and putting it everywhere, you're going to see what Notebook LM will generate. Before we even get to see the slides, if you find this exciting, you think this is exciting, I want you to give me the thumbs up. If this seems like something exciting to you, give me the thumbs up. Okay, fantastic, brilliant. So I'm going to come back to Notebook LM. In case I forget, Uchechuku remind me, Deborah remind me, and somebody here on the call should also remind me. So we go back to Notebook LM and see what Notebook LM has generated for us. Now let's move on. I said there are 5 strategies. So that's the first one. The second thing was Frank learned the skills the right way. He did not learn by just going on YouTube, going on different platforms to watch videos. I made that mistake when I was transitioning. Okay, I tried to learn in different places. I tried to do things myself, and I was watching videos, but I realized that what I was watching was not aligned to the type of job I wanted to get. I wanted to get a job in the energy sector, and I was working on projects in e-commerce. That was not relevant to me. So you have to learn the right way when you want to get a job, a remote job, get a job with any company anywhere. And how do you learn the right way? Or how did Frank learn in order to get this job? Frank learned by doing something important, 2 things. He learned in a project-based environment, which is learning by doing the job. And he also did what? He built a portfolio to showcase the work he had done. Why did he do this? Nobody knows how good you are. Nobody even knows you. Okay? Nobody even knows you if you don't show what you can do. You need to know, you need to show the world how good you are. All right? And if Oshe is saying the teaching is too fast for, let me know where you lost me, Modupe Ola, and I'll explain again. All right, so our session today is not for you to do what I'm doing. No, our session today is for you to understand what you need to do. The session is recorded. If you feel the attendance, you're going to get the recording. So at your own convenience, you can now go back later this evening. Tomorrow is the weekend. You can sit back and try to replicate what I've done. Okay, but in the meantime, the session today is for understanding, knowing that I must get the right type of skills in order to compete for the best type of jobs out there. Number 2 is in learning the skill, I must learn by doing the job. So if you want to become a data survey officer and data analyst, you want to know how to do your job using AI, you must do that job. You must learn by doing the job. You must know how to create survey instruments. You must know how to automate the process. You must know how to use tools like Copilot to make your work fast. So when people are doing theirs in hours, you are doing yours in minutes, in seconds. And that's the importance. And once you've done those things, you must do what? Showcase your work in a portfolio. That is extremely important. That's the only way you can convince an employer by not telling them stories. You're not telling stories about what you can do. You are telling them and showing them what you have done. So I'm going to take you to Frank's portfolio. Okay, I'll take you to Frank's portfolio. You get to see what Frank has built. Aha, so our slides are ready. So I'm going to open up the slides and you get to see. So Frank's portfolio, and you see what Frank built as evidence that he has done that job before. Okay, so let's click on the second one. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, and let me just do it. I can do a presentation from here, or I can download. So I can download it into a PowerPoint presentation. Let me show you how. So I can come here, I can download as a PowerPoint presentation, I can download as a PDF, and I can send it. But let's download, you know, as a PowerPoint presentation. And I'll open up that PowerPoint presentation and we'll see what Notebook LM has built for us. Okay, I need to be sure this is the one with the prompts. No, this is not the one with the prompts. So let's get the second one. Okay, so I'm going to get the second one. This is not the one with the prompts. So which one did I click on? I think, was it this? Okay, yeah. So this is the second one. You can see it has the final executive summary because that was what we told Notebook LM to do for us. Okay, have a final executive summary. So let me download this. Okay, download PowerPoint, and I'm going to present this PowerPoint to you. All right, and you'd see what Notebook LM has done. Only six slides, very concise. Okay, somebody said they can't see my slide. If you can see my slide, please give me a thumbs up so I know you can see. Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, you can all see my slide. I think at DBC Mary, what you might need to do is maybe you need to log off and come back again. Maybe it's the network. It's a network challenge from your end, and same with Sambi Consults. All right. So you can see this is the slide Notebook LM design. From that, mashup I put together, I copied the slide, put it there, and I gave it to Notebook LM, and I said develop something. So Notebook LM is saying what? 373 people, responded. 52% were male, 47.5 were female. Okay, so observation, rationale, commercial implication, what's the recommended action? Okay, proceed with broad scale campaign investments, prioritize experience-led messaging over gender marketing. So we have almost equal amounts of male and female, so there's no need for us to categorically do separate gender marketing. We can do what? Focus on experience-led messaging. What experience do these travelers want to see? So let's go to the next slide. The year-end demand. So you can see that we have an off-peak period, and then we have a demand concentration in December. We saw that in the chart when I asked you the question the second time. Okay, so key insights. So this is me presenting to management, and I would say that we need to focus on one thing. We need to focus on the year-end demand, where we have high number of travelers wanting to travel around that time. So demand aggressively spikes in December. 22.5% of our customers want to travel in December, and this creates a massive late year yield opportunities, but exposing the business to off-peak revenue gaps. So what do we do in off-peak when people are not willing to travel? We can come up with packages, okay? And in December, we increase our fees because we know that whether people like it or not, they will travel in December, all right? So let's see, what's the strategy? The strategy is to what? Aggressively raise margins and enforce rigid cancellation policies for December now. Simultaneously, inject early bird promotions to defend Q1 to Q3 volume. I didn't design this myself. This is Notebook LM saying that from Q1 to Q3, which is from January to September, do what? Early bird promotions. So you get a lot of people to either book in December or they book travel opportunities between Q1 to Q3. So we can go through the slide one after the other. Okay, we can go through one after the other and see, a lot of people want to travel with family. 42.4% want to travel with family. So we created, a package for them around traveling with family. 69.7% want to hire a car to travel. Okay, so what do? Elevate car hire from a secondary add-on to a core bundled product to capture massive untapped ancillary revenue. So what is Notebook LM telling us? If we want to get our customers to book even faster, don't put car hiring as a secondary package. Put it together with the main package. So when people see that I have early bird opportunity to register and book a trip in December, and there is also car hire available as one package, they will jump on it. All right, and I'll take it to the very end where you have your final executive summary. Okay, so what are the top 3 recommendations? You read it out to management. Bundle and integrate. Hard bundle car hire and secure preferred supplier rates immediately. Concentrate marketing. Reallocate destination spend exclusively to Paris and the Maldives. So we know that our customers want to travel to Paris, most of them. So what do? Let's concentrate marketing on Paris. And the second preferred destination is the Maldives. So we focus on Paris, we focus on the Maldives. Dynamic pricing, implement premium Q4 pricing, and deploy early bird and off-peak promotions. So when you see people present during, sessions, and you see that they've carried out analysis and they're presenting the analysis, and they sound very intelligent. This is one of the reasons why they sound very intelligent. They've done the analysis, they've utilized AI tools to help them what? Accelerate the time it took to generate this, and also the quality of the presentation. This is not something you can design in 1 hour. I create slides all the time. This will take you well over 2 to 3 hours to create, but you create it in a few minutes using tools like Copilot and Notebook LM. So you can see the beauty of knowing how to use tools like this. And that was exactly what someone like Frank was able to do. So when Frank was learning, Frank learned in a project-based environment, and he also showcased his work in a portfolio. So I'm going to show you a portfolio of the things that Frank built, okay, as evidence that he had done the job before. You don't want to find yourself in a class, or in an interview where you are explaining what you can do. Show evidence, okay? Where is your evidence? All right, and let me show you what Frank's evidence looks like, and you get to understand why Frank got that job. The reason he got the job was not a fluke. It was because he could show that he had evidence that he had done the job. So this is Frank, Aneke Chiemere Frank. Like I mentioned, Frank is going to join us later today. These are some of the things Frank built, okay? France Logic Africa dashboard, smoking health risk analysis, brain tumor distribution analysis, public health utilization analysis. Now, let's look at one of them, okay? When a recruiter or a company wants to hire you, they want to see what you have done to be sure that you can do it for them, all right? The link to this particular dashboard, the link to this portfolio would be on your CV and also on your LinkedIn profile. So anybody who comes across your CV can click on that link and see what you've built, and they are confident enough to invite you for an interview and get to ask questions to be sure you can do the job, okay? So let's click on the, smoking analysis. I click on this, and when you get the link as well, you can interact and click on it. So I'm going to click on this, okay? So let's see. This was built using Power BI, and this was built by Frank. So this is an analysis for people that smoke and how it affects the different parts of the human organ. So how it affects the heart. I can click on the liver to see how it affects the liver. And you can see that this is dynamic. It responds to interaction. I click on the lungs. It shows how it affects the lungs. This was not built by an expert like me. It was built by Frank, a recent graduate from the university who recently got a job. And how did he get to this level of skilling? He learned the skill. He had evidence. So anybody can come and see, 168 patients, got their lungs got affected by smoking. You can see the age group of those that, got affected by smoking. 49 to 58 represents, the majority of people. 59 to 68, 69 plus, and so on and so forth. All right, you can click on liver, and we can interact with everything that Frank has built. We can go to the brain tumor distribution analysis. We can click on this as well. It takes us to that dashboard, and this is how cancer affects the brain, the part of the brain the cancer affects, and this was built by Frank. All right, so this is grade 1. You can see the image. You can see this was done using Power BI. Valentine is asking. So the pituitary gland, you can see how it's affected. The temporal, the multiple. I can click on grade 3, and it also interacts. You can see the part of the brain affected in a grade 3 level cancer of the brain. is the cerebellum, the brainstem, and so on and so forth. Anybody who sees this and wants to hire somebody that knows how to use Power BI would not waste time to call Frank, because this is good quality work. And the only way they know Frank has good quality work is because they can see what he has built in his what? Portfolio. Check out my portfolio. This is how you have to learn. You learn by doing the job, and you must have evidence for doing that job. That's what your portfolio does for you. All right. So in the program, you're going to work and complete at least 10 to 15 projects. And these are the projects you're going to upload into your portfolio. All right. And one of the most important things you also need to note is once you complete these projects, they serve as your work experience. So when Frank gets into an interview, he can talk about the brain cancer distribution analysis. He can talk about the heart, the way smoking affects the organs of the human body and so on. He can talk about those analyses. He can talk about the logistic analysis, the analysis he did for the Trans-Logistic Africa dashboard. Okay, the same thing. If you click on it, you can interact with it and see all the things that he's done. That's good quality stuff you must know how to do. All right. Excuse me. Now, the quality of your certificate also matters a whole lot. So when you are done learning the skill, your certification comes from analytics that is accredited by the CPD in the UK and also the American Council of Training and Development. And what does this mean? It means that your skills meet global standards. You've learned in a structured environment from a globally recognized organization. All right. So if you click on this link, for example, it takes you to the CPD UK Standards Office, and it shows you Tenalytics is what? Certified as a CPD provider. So this simply shows that the quality of what you are learning meets global standards. And you also have the ACTD, the American Council of Training and Development, which also shows what Tenalytics gets to offer meets quality standards across the US. Okay, so Tenalytics is a professional training institution registered in Canada and so on and so forth. All right, and of course, you also have the CPD. So these are important when it comes to the quality of the work that you do and the quality of what you've learned in a structured environment. So once you've done this, the first strategy, remember, is what? Learn a high demand skill. Second strategy is what? Learn the skills the right way. And how do you learn the skills the right way? Learn in a project-based environment and build a portfolio to showcase your work. That's the only way people know you can do what you say you can do. Don't tell what you can do, show what you have done. Strategy number 3 is what? You must gain foreign work experience. Let me ask this question. If you want to get a job in the UK, candidate A has worked for a company. Candidate A has worked for a company in the UK. Candidate B has not worked for a company in the UK. Who would get the job working remotely for that company in the UK? Who is likely going to get that job if they have equal level of skills? A has worked for a company in the UK before, or can show that they've worked for a company in the UK, and B has not. Who do you think would easily get that job? It's a no-brainer. Candidate A would get the job because that company would see that you have worked with a company in the UK before, so you understand the way we work, you understand the culture, and so on and so forth. And that was exactly what Frank did. How did Frank gain foreign work experience? You see all those projects that I showed you, those were parts of his work experience. And he also had a portfolio to back it up. And I'll show you how this works practically. So if you go to anybody's LinkedIn profile and you check, you want to see where they have worked before. All right. And I'll show you, let me show you one. Let's see if we can quickly check one on LinkedIn. Let's go to, let me think of somebody let's go to Busola. Busola Adesanya, for example. Okay. Busola currently works in Desjardins, a company in Canada, Ontario, Canada. She works as a data valorization and performance advisor. But her experience before that is what? Data analyst with Tenalytics. Canada, remote. So what did Busola do here? Busola is simply showing that, and this was what Busola did to get this job as a performance analyst. So this company would see, and of course they reach out to us for a you'll understand the reason why this is very important to list this, why it's important. So Busola is showing that I don't just have experience, but I have experience with a company registered in Canada. So when you want to hire me, I can show that I have Canadian work experience. I can show that I have UK work experience. I can show that I've worked with these organizations before. And when they request for a reference, because they would always do that, you can also, you use our details and we send a reference to those organizations, and I'll show you how that works. And someone is asking a very good question. How can a beginner gain foreign work experience? I've just shown you exactly what you need to do. All these projects in Frank's portfolio, those are his work experience. That's what he has done working with us at Tenalytics. So when you join us, you don't join us as a student and say, I'm a student, I am learning, or I'm a participant, I'm training, I'm a trainee. No, you are a what? You are a consultant. All the things you do, all the skills you've learned, all the technologies you can use are the exact same technologies you would use on the job. So why shortchange yourself by saying I'm a trainee or I'm a student and so on and so forth? No, you are a consultant working with us, getting the job done. And that's where you gain your work experience, because these organizations would reach out and say, I want to know where you've worked before. Where have you utilized these tools? Who can vouch for you? Is there a reputable organization that can vouch for you? That's where listing Tenalytics as part of a work experience becomes an advantage for you. And that takes me to number 4 strategy. So once you learn a high demand skill, number 1, you learn the skill the right way, number 2, you gain foreign work experience, number 3, you must know where to apply and how to apply. So how did Frank apply to jobs? You have the normal job board. So we send you job boards that anybody else can get. So a lot of people apply to jobs remotely, but they don't get opportunities, unfortunately. So what we do, number 1, is we scrape jobs from the top job boards. We vet these jobs to be sure that these are the type of jobs you can do. And then we send these jobs to you. It's in your classroom. You go there every week and apply to these jobs. And secondly, we also schedule different sessions where we show you how to apply to remote jobs in specific locations. For example, remote job strategy in Canada. A lot of people only apply to jobs. If you're in Nigeria today, you're in Lagos, you're in Anambra, you're in Enugu, you're wherever you are in Africa, and all you do is to apply. You get a job board like JobGether, you get a job board like Outlier, and you're applying to jobs. You stand a chance of getting only 40% of the jobs available. You are losing out on 60% of jobs. So how do we help you get the 60% available? That's where the different other strategies on how to connect to employers without applying to jobs in the company. We show you how to do that. Okay, so remote job boards for applicants from Nigeria, specific job boards you need to use, and more importantly, specific sessions. I'll show you some of the sessions we had recently on that, especially for Canada and for the UK. Okay, so I'm going to show you very quickly. So this is your LMS. Okay, this is a classroom, for example. You log into the classroom. You have access to your classes, and I'll show you the job. So we had in our mentorship session, Canada remote job strategy. Okay. And there was a second part, Canada remote job strategy 2. So anybody who is enrolled here now knows exactly what to do. And I'll show you this session. So if you click on that, you go to the mentorship session, you'll see me right there. Okay. Teaching you exactly what you need to do. Practical session. So it's not a presentation, practical. How to reach out to organizations, not just the organization, but specific individuals. How to reach out to specific individuals, tailor your message, get a response from them. All right, using different tools to tailor your messaging and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what a mentor, it's always going to be in your classroom. You have lifetime access to it. You can always go there, watch and see exactly what to do. Because one thing that I've seen when I moved to Canada, I moved to Canada about almost 3 years ago now. When I moved to Canada and we set up operations in Canada, I realized that we have numerous employees working for us from Nigeria. And the way we get these guys is not because they apply to jobs. If we want to hire candidates from Nigeria, we don't hire them by them applying to jobs. No. We look at what they've done. We look at what they're building. And most of them also do one thing that a lot of people don't do. They have a strategy to reach out and communicate with value. And that's what my session today centers around. So I'm not reaching out to ask for a job. I'm reaching out to show you what I can do for you. So for somebody like Frank, who built amazing dashboards, I'm showing you how I can build amazing dashboards for you. But how to communicate is the most important part. All right. And that's what I was handling here, showing you exactly what to do. It was an amazing session. So everybody in this program has access to that. They know exactly what to do and they're getting it done. Okay. If you only apply to jobs, you only stand a 40% chance of landing jobs. And that's why a lot of Nigerians, a lot of people in Africa cannot get jobs remotely, you know, among so many other reasons. Okay. So knowing where to apply and how to apply is extremely important. Then the fifth strategy you need to take note of is what? You will always need a reference. So when that company decides to bring you on board, they want somebody to vouch for you, to say that this is who you are. You can use these tools and technologies. You've worked together before, and you are the right person to do the job. Okay, so I'll show you what a reference looks like. This is Ahmed. Ahmed got a job as a health informatics support worker with the NHS in the UK. He got this job in June 2025. And this is the NHS reaching out to me, Mr. Deza Suleiman. Dear Mr. Deza Suleiman, the above named has been offered the post of health informatics support worker and has given the permission for us to approach you for a reference. I'll be grateful if you could let me have your opinion regarding his suitability. That's what they want to know. Are you suitable for the role? So there's a link for us to click. We click on that link, we fill the reference form, and we send it back to them. That's the only way you get confirmed for the job. They don't want to hire somebody who is a fraud. They don't want to hire somebody with questionable character. So they want to know, who have you worked with before? Right? And this is how the referencing works. Okay. So Kolawole is asking, how do I align my current job where I also want to reference Tenalytics? These are the things we show you how to. There's so many ways you can get that sorted. I will show you how to do that for those of you that have joined the program. And of course, this is another reference. This is from the UK Civil Service Department of Works and Pension, where they are reaching out to say, dear Deza Suleiman, Francis has been given a provisional offer, okay, for a position at the Department of Works and Pension. As part of the pre-employment process, we are doing pre-employment checks, and they have nominated you as a referee to provide some information. Okay, and this is where we come in to provide the reference for you to say that we've worked together, you know how to use these tools, you know how to use these skills, and these technologies. If you don't have one out of the five, you're going to struggle to land a job. You might struggle to get into the interview, but you don't know what to say because you've not interviewed for a role like that before. You might get into the interview, maybe you do well, you get an offer, and they say provide a reference, and all your references are from Nigeria. Unfortunately, we don't have a very good image, and everything we provide, they always would doubt it. Okay, and that's where having a reputable organization that can say that Francis can use these tools, Adewoye Ido can use these tools and technologies. He has used these tools with us. He has worked on these type of projects, and he's the right person for the job. That's where the job starts to become a reality for you. Okay, so in summary, what we do for you is we help you learn the skills. You learn a high demand skill. Then secondly, we do something I call packaging. We package you as the best candidate for that job. We package and position you as the best candidate. How? We show you how to gain work experience through the project you complete and building a portfolio. We revamp your CV for you. So you send us your CV, we tailor and revamp that CV to the industry standard for you. And then we show you how to tailor the CV going forward. Then we optimize your LinkedIn profile. We show you how to create a portfolio, just like Frank's portfolio. So you have a portfolio where every project you complete, you upload into that portfolio. You have your mentorship sessions. You've seen some of the things we discuss in mentorship. We show you how to apply to jobs, job strategy in Canada. You see sessions like how to post on LinkedIn with AI. You see sessions on AI internship application. This happened yesterday, Thursday. Mentorship is every Thursday evenings around 9 p.m. Okay, so you get to know how to apply. Practical session as well, taken by the deputy lead of training. Okay, so how to post on LinkedIn is another mentorship session, because one of the things you want to do is know how to tell a story on LinkedIn. Have evidence, social proof that you are who you say you are, and you have social proof of what you do on LinkedIn. So these are the things you see in your mentorship sessions. And when you have an interview, we prep you for that interview. And just like the reference I showed you, we provide you with a reference. Then we show you how to apply and where to apply. And more importantly, we show you how to tap into the hidden job market for jobs that are not, they've not put those jobs out there for adverts. How do you still get those type of jobs? And when you put all of these together, you learn, package, apply. That's what helps you get the job. And that was how Frank was able to land his job. If Frank is here on the call, this is the point where I'm going to bring Frank to come. You have the opportunity to ask Frank questions. I don't know if Frank is here or Chichuku. If Frank is here, please let me know and let's get Frank right on the call, okay? Ochichuku, you can also unmute and speak if you want to. I want to know if Frank is here.
Yes, he was. So I'm just going to make him a co-host.
Okay, make him co-host so I can bring him on board. And you get to see the amazing Frank. Let me show Frank's picture again one more time. Okay, so that's Frank right there. Okay, so Frank is going to join us. And you get to hear from Frank. Okay, which I can't see Frank on the screen. I'm typing Frank, or maybe he joined with a different name. I'm not sure.
Yes, looks like he dropped off, but I've reached out and he's joining back now.
Okay, so probably Frank had some network issues and Frank is going to join us back. So as soon as he joins us, Uche, just give me, notify me so I can bring Frank on board and Frank can come share his story. But you're definitely going to listen to Frank before we wrap up today. All right. So these are the things you need to do to land a job in 2026. These are the things you need to do to accelerate your journey from somebody without experience to somebody who can hold their own in an interview, compete for amazing type of jobs and get those jobs, easily. All right. So I can see some questions in the chat. I'm going to take a few questions and then I'll show you how to start. So for those of you that are ready to get started, what do you need to do today to get your journey started? I'm also going to show you how to do that. That's exactly what, okay, Frank is here now. Frank Aneke is here. Okay, so can you make Frank co-host, Uche? I think that's Frank Aneke, if I'm correct. Okay. Frank is here. So I'm going to stop sharing so that you can all see Frank. Frank, can you put on your video if you have your video on so people can get to see you? Okay. Okay, let me see. Frank, I can see you, but your video is on and your mic is also off. Aha.
Hello.
Hello, Frank. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good evening, Frank. Frank, I've said so many things about you, how amazing you are, and how you've been able to land jobs and land a job in Anambra State with a UK-based company. All right. So what I want you to do for us, Frank, is there's so many people. Can you hear me, Frank? It seems like your network is a bit shaky.
Yes, it's a bit shaking actually.
Okay, so I want you to answer a few questions. And if you have questions for Frank, please type it into the chat so Frank can also answer. But Frank, what I want you to do is, there are a lot of people that think this is not for me. I can't do this. I don't have experience. I've never done it before. I always tell people that, just like myself, I studied industrial chemistry. Nobody is giving birth into this world with the knowledge of analytic skills, but I learned the skills. You also learned the skills, Frank. So what would you tell somebody who feels they can't do it? What would be your advice to them? Hi, Frank. Can you still hear me? Oh my goodness. I think Frank is struggling with his network. Frank, did you get my question?
No, come again, please.
Yes, Frank, I can hear you.
I say, can you come again with the question?
All right. What would you tell somebody who is getting started that feels that they can't get this done, they can't do this? Okay. What advice would you like to give to them? Because for you, you are a recent graduate, you were doing your NYC when you joined, and here you are today, you have a job. So what would you advise somebody who is trying to start and thinking that they can't do it?
Okay. Actually, I can actually say that I am very, very grateful for joining.
Frank, you're breaking and you're breaking up really bad. I wish I could share some internet with you. Maybe you should put up your video without help. Can you put up your video and try to speak, maybe without help with the bandwidth?
So, like I was saying, it was a commitment that I took to join. When I saw the
Oh my goodness.
Tenality being a data professional, I didn't actually have what it takes to key in, but I just have to go out of my comfort zone, making sure that I pay the token that was being stipulated during that time for me to be able to join. So that was it. That was how I joined the cohort.
Frank,
I can actually say that a lot of mentors and that.
Hello, Frank. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You are still breaking up. So I don't know if you can change your network. Maybe take a few minutes, 2-3 minutes, try to sort out your network, and then you get to speak again. Do you think you can get the network better than it is at the moment? Because we're all struggling to hear you.
Oh, I don't think so, please.
Okay, so let's try it again one more time, and I hope we will. So we heard a couple of things you said. You talked about paying the token to start and so on. So What would you advise somebody who wants to start their journey today? They're on this call, but they are thinking that I don't think I can do this. So how was Frank able to do it? What would you advise to them to do today?
If you are in this webinar right now, I think that is the first step and a bold step that you have taken, because I can remember this was how I was able to took my own step after the 10 Analytic hackathon in November. That was when I come in contact with 10 Analytic business. So after the hackathon, that was when I took the step. I was just waiting for when they will have their next cohort of the class. So I now saw the opportunity. I just have to key in. So my advice is anybody that is here, this is the right opportunity and the privilege.
Okay, Frank is gone again. Okay.
That you have. And it's important that you utilize the privilege when you see.
Yes, we can hear you now. So Frank, one more question because of time and also because of the network. Unfortunately, the network has been bad from your end. We can't really hear you. It would have really been nice for us to get to ask you a couple of questions. But you talked about you coming back to get preparation for your interview, and you were particular about thanking your coach, Pius, who was a facilitator and who taught you during your program. So I want you to tell me, how relevant was the interview? How important?
Yes, actually, when I finished my program with analytics,
how important was the interview preparation to you landing the job? And also, how relevant was your coach, Pius, in the process of you getting this job?
Okay, for the interview preparation, it was more than important because I just have like 2 days to interview. I reached out. Within the next day, I was able.
Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, unfortunately, Frank recorded a video actually. So I'm going to play Frank's video so you can listen to Frank. The network has been so bad, and unfortunately, Frank can't speak to us this evening. So Frank, thanks for coming. We'll bring you again some other time to come to speak. So what I'm going to do, Frank, is you also sit back and I'm going to play the video that you recorded talking about your journey. Okay, so I'm going to play that video. The link is also on my slide. Like I mentioned, everything I'll be sharing today will be on my slide. So let me play the video. Since you can't hear Frank live and ask questions live, let's get to watch Frank video that he created for us. Okay, so I'm going to play that and we get to hear from Frank. So it's on my slide. The link is there. If you haven't filled the attendance, make sure you do. Okay, so here is the link. I'm going to click on that right now. That's the link right there. Okay, so let's hear from Frank and let's hear to get that job.
Hello.
Okay, so that's the same gentleman that joined us on the call. Unfortunately, the network was bad. We couldn't hear him clearly, but let's hear from him. If you heard when Frank said hello, give me the thumbs up so I can continue playing. Okay, fantastic. So I'll play, get to hear from him and how he got his job.
Hello, my name is Aniki Chimere Frank. I participated in Generative AI for Data Analyst with 10 Analytic Business last year, November to this year, February. I just want to use this opportunity to thank 10 Analytic Business for their support, the encouragement and everything during and even after the training, for the continuous growth and development that they have provided to me. During the training, a lot was being taught. I actually learned a lot during the training from my coach, and I didn't just stop learning. After the training, I continued developing myself, looking for business brief to solve, applying for some internship, which I got, developing myself during the internship, learning as I progress in the profession, keep on practicing, because I understand that in this world of tech, practice is the key of everything. So as I keep on practicing, I was equally applying for roles that I come across with. So based on that, I was able to land myself my first role in the data profession as a data analyst. So I just want to use this great opportunity to thank and acknowledge Analytic Business for their support even during the interview. They actually helped in preparing me for the interview and everything, so it's a privilege for me. And also to my coach for his support. Anytime I reach out, he's always there. My coach Pius, I'm really grateful for your support and everything that you have done. Thank you so much. I can't just thank you full enough. I am really grateful for all the support so far. Thank you and God bless you. Hello.
Okay, so that's Frank. We finally got to listen to Frank. So Frank recorded this video. He recently got the job. He got the job in June, like I mentioned. And we wanted to bring Frank here to kind of like announce and, tell everybody what he's been able to do. Unfortunately, his network was not very great, but we've all heard Frank. So if you have questions for Frank, you can type into the chat. I'm sure he might be able to type if his network is good enough. Okay, so you heard Frank. One of the two things I picked from what Frank said: number one, practice, practice, practice. He never stopped practicing. And that's a key part of getting yourself from somebody with no skills in this area to somebody who can actually land a job like Frank. The second thing Frank said that I picked was his coach, Pius. Pius was his coach. Pius prepped him for interviews. Pius worked with him and ensured that he was able to get into that role. These were the two things I picked. And here is Frank today doing amazingly well for himself, a recent graduate. And everybody here can also get into the program. Our next cohort starts on the 4th of July. Okay, that's next week, Saturday. So you have just one more week to get started. And if you listen to Frank started November 25th, November 2025. He finished in February, and in June, he has gotten a job. That's, I would say, within the space of 6 months. So dedicating 6 months to transforming your career is something that everybody should jump on. If I look at where I am now and what I stand to gain, getting a job, working remotely, having the opportunity to analyze data and showcase to businesses, get my salary up, that's absolutely phenomenal. All right. So Frank is answering your question, Adiola. Adiola asked the question, Frank, how did the interview go? And Frank is saying, Adiola, the interview was awesome and the preparation was given from Analytic Business. Really went a long way in landing the role. So Frank, how many stages were the interviews? Was it one stage? Was it 2 stages? I'm sure Adiola might want to know. Perhaps that's what she was trying to ask as well. Do you have a coach? Every program has a coach. So you have at least 2 coaches per program. Okay, so generative AI for data analytics, you have at least 3 coaches because a lot of people go for generative AI. So you have the opportunity to have somebody who is on call to help you with your interviews, help you prep, and so on. All right. So the next cohort starts on the 4th of July, and I have 2 amazing offers for those that will be starting their journey today. Those that will be joining the July cohort starting next week, Saturday. Now, Frank said something, and Frank said he paid a token to start. And the reason why Frank was able to get in at a token is the same offer I'm going to be presenting to you today. All right. The original amount to start is 250,000 Naira. That's what it costs to get your journey started. However, I'm giving you an amazing 40% discount. Frank had the opportunity to also enjoy these discounts, and that was why he was able to start. 40% discount. Instead of paying 250,000, you get to pay just 150,000 Naira. And to even make it easier, and one of the things that made it easy for Frank to also start was Frank did not have to pay the full amount in one swoop. He made his payments in 3 installments. He started with 50,000 and he completed the other 100,000, afterwards. And you also have that opportunity. So 50K to get started, and you get to complete the other payments as your training goes on. All right. So this is the amazing discount that I have, and I'll show you how to get started. I'll show you how to take advantage of this discount. But in addition to this, for the first 10 people, and the discount is open to the first 10 people, and once you've completed your payment, you get automatically integrated into the LMS, and you can start to use the LMS immediately. All right. And you also just send a message to this number. Once you've made payments, take a screenshot, send it to this number, and somebody will help you with any questions you have in terms of directions or a page I want to access, and so on and so forth. But you get automatically redirected and you have access to the LMS. You get an email with a link to join the LMS with your username and your password, which you get to change the first time you log in. All right. So you have the amazing opportunity to get in at 150K, and also an amazing opportunity to make payments in 3 installments. So 50K, 50K, 50K. All right. Now, just for the first 10 people, not for everybody on the call, because we don't have the bandwidth to take everybody on the call. And for the first 10 people, I have more offers for you. So the first offer is the 40% discount. You get in at 150 instead of 250, and you get to make payments in multiple installments. The second offer that I have for you is for the first 10 people to register, you also get access immediately to the Canada Remote Job Strategy. All right. And when you watch the session, you'll understand exactly what I mean by why people cannot get jobs today, because what you're doing only qualifies you for 40% of the jobs available. The other 60% that you need to do, the 60% of the jobs available, are in these 2 videos. Mentorship session, Canada Remote Job Strategy. Mentorship session, Canada Remote Job Strategy 2. These 2 sessions will show you exactly what you need to do step by step. And once you get this done, this is where you start to get access to opportunities for remote jobs. Okay, so you'll get access to this, the first 10 people to register. Also, not for everyone, just the first 10 people. So if you fall within the first 10, you will get access to everything that I've shared today. So how do you start? Very simple. My colleague Janet sent a link in the chat, for example. Once you click on that link from Janet, or you click on the link from Deborah, so you have Janet, you have Deborah. Once you click on the link, it's going to take you to this page. So I'm going to show you, just give me 1 second and I'll show you. It takes you to this page. Okay, so it takes you to the website. Just scroll down and choose the program you are interested in. We offer more programs, not just one, but I focused on the program that Frank did and the program that helped Frank get his job. Olusegun also got a job in Canada in January this year, completed the AI automation engineering. So if you are going for the same program that Frank did, that's the AI for data analytics. All right. So all you need to do, you click on view program, you'll get to see the curriculum, what the program is all about, and so on. So click on, you see the full curriculum of what you learn. Data cleaning using AI. You build your first AI analytics prompt. Okay. You see how you use Copilot and so on with Power BI. Same with Excel. You learn how to do the things that I did today, very straightforward. You learn how to do that using Copilot. You learn how to do that using Create Report using Gamma AI. I used Notebook LM, but you also get to learn how to use Gamma and so on and so forth. All right, that's the curriculum. You get to see all of that. Now, if you want to start, all you have to do is click on Enroll Now. So once you click on Enroll Now, it takes you to the program and all its details. Now, the beauty about it is if you decide that, oh, I don't want to pay in 3 installments, I want to make a one-time payment, you get further discounts. So instead of paying 50K in 3 places, and if you pay once, you get to pay just the 120K. 120K, 2 months of learning valuable skills, not just the technical skills, but knowing how to apply, where to apply, giving you a reference, working on your CV, building a portfolio, optimizing your LinkedIn profile, and everything that comes with it to transform your career in 2026. By the end of June, the first half of the year is gone. Now we are moving into the second half of the year. Will you end 2026 with the question in your mind that I wish I had done this? If I had started, this is where I would have been by now. End of 2026 is still going to come. Either way, you learn the skills or you don't, end of 2026 would come. So the question is, where do I want to be at the end of 2026? Do I want to be like Frank, sharp, young gentleman who recently just got a job? Do you want to also have your face on our slides and we invite you into sessions to say, hey, this person just got a job because they started in July 2026. So if you want to get started, you want to pay in 1 installment, you get to pay only 120K. If you want to pay in 3 installments, you get to pay 50K to start, 50K afterwards. All right. So all you have to do is come in here, click on, choose your payment plan. All right, and you choose your cohorts. So you want to start in July, you click on July. You can also start in August. If your July is packed, is already filled up, you have commitments in July, you can start in August, but you still enjoy the discount. So for the first 10 people, you still enjoy the discount and you still get the free Canada Remote Job Strategy sessions the moment you've completed and you've been enrolled into the program. All right. Or you want to start in August, you click on August, and once you're part of the first 10 people, you still enjoy the discount. Okay. You can make your payments in one-time payments. You pay just the 120K, or you pay in 3 installments, 50K per payment. All right. Once you've selected your preferred option, you just come in here and click on what? Start with 50K. Okay. And once you do that, you get a specific account sent to you. Use that account, complete your payment. Once you've completed your payment using that account, that it's automatically generated for you. Okay, so you click on I've sent the money, and then your payment is confirmed. You receive an email and you get started with your journey. Your first class starts on the 4th of July next week, Saturday. Okay, so that's how to get started. Okay, so I'm going to take questions for those of you that have questions for me. I'm sure Frank is still on the call. In case for those that have questions for Frank, you can also ask in the chat, and I'm sure Frank would respond. So let me take questions. Okay, so Temidayo is saying my focus is HR analytics, but I'd love to pair that with generative analytics in business and project management. I'd love to know if this is possible and what it takes. Plus, I am just kickstarting my HR career, having completed degrees and CIPM certification. That's absolutely phenomenal, Temidayo. But Temidayo, this is what I want you to do. Okay, so one of the mistakes people make is wanting to learn everything at once. It's always comes with its own, disadvantages. So what I want you to do, Temidayo, is this. All right. Go to the program. I'll show you exactly what to do. All right. The program for you to register for as a HR professional. Go to, just give me 1 second. All right, so I'm just going to wait for that to load. Let me see if I can get it done from here. I want you to register for the generative AI for HR analytics. Okay, generative AI for what? HR analytics. So when you go to programs and you want to select a program, Temidayo, select generative AI for HR analytics. Every single tool and technology you'd learn is same with the data analyst. The only difference is you get to work on HR related projects, people related data. Okay, but you're going to also learn how to use tools like everything you learn in data analytics. Let me see if I can bring that up for you once again. Okay. So this is what I want you to click on, Temidayo. Okay, AI or HR analytics. So go there and click on this. Once you have done this and you've completed this program, you can then go for AI for business analysis and project management. Don't combine the two. If you try to take both at the same time, one would suffer, and that'll be a waste of money for you. So you'd have paid the money for two, but at the end of the day, you get to enjoy just one, or you might not even get value from anyone at the end of the day. Okay, so do the AI for HR analytics. The same discounts, the same offers come with this program as well. And when you are done with this in 2 months, say you start in July, August, by September you are done, you can start the AI for business analysis and project management. Okay, so that's you building and equipping yourself with so many skills, and there is nothing but numerous advantages for doing that. Okay, but that's what I recommend that you do. I hope that makes sense to answer your question. All right. So for Kolawole is asking, if I am paying the full sum, where do I go? All you need to do is select the program you want to join and click on what? Enroll now. Okay, that's all you need to do. Click on what? Enroll now. So when you click on enroll now, it's to take you to where you get to select if you want a one-time payment or you want to make payment in installments. Okay. Alfred is asking, I wish to ask you, what about someone like me who is not proficient in computer? All we need from you, Alfred, is you can open a computer, you can browse the internet. It's not like you've never used a computer before. Okay, as long as you know how to use the computer, it is beginner friendly. We expect that you are a beginner joining the program. Our programs are designed with the beginner in mind. Okay, so you can get started and then we'll work with you to get you up to speed. But if you've never used a computer before and you'll be using a computer for the first time during the program, that's where you will struggle. All right. So if I click on AI for HR analytics, like Temidayo was asking the other time, this takes you to the content. Okay. And if you remember, Temidayo, like I mentioned, you learn the exact same thing like the AI data analyst. The only difference is this is specific to what? HR. So when the data analyst is cleaning customer data, cleaning sales data, cleaning different types of data, you are doing what? Cleaning HR data, employee insights, summarization, recruitment analytics. You are building your first HR focused, AI prompts. You're automating processes using, automating HR processes. I did something the other day where I showed how to automate the recruitment process. We had a session just like the one we're having now, but it was focused on HR. All right, so these are the type of things you get to learn. Okay, you learn how to build HR dashboards. You analyze specific metrics like attrition, hiring trends, and so on and so forth. And this is, I'd say, the best program for you at the moment, Temidayo, because it takes your HR competence, your CIPM certification, and you build on top of that with you knowing how to use tools like Zapier, tools like N10 for automation. You get to learn how to use Copilot in Excel, in Power BI, Zebra AI, Quadratic, Bricks, and so on and so forth. You'll be valuable, to use a Nigerian parlance, you'll be a hot cake in the market. All right, you're going to learn all this: Julius AI, Quadratic, Zebra AI, Bricks AI, to do amazing stuff. Will I learn data storytelling? Absolutely. Data storytelling, can you see that right here? Build an AI HR data storyteller. Okay, data storytelling is a very important part, extremely important part of your journey in analytics. All right, so you're going to learn data storytelling because your head of department, your division lead, your commercial manager, your director, they don't know all these things. They don't know all this Power BI, Zebra AI, Copilot. All they want to know is, tell me what we need to do. Tell me what you have seen from the data. And the only way you can walk them through and tell them to understand what you've done and take a decision based on what you've done is to know how to tell a good story. So those are the things you also get to learn, data storytelling as part of your journey. All right. Okay. So let me see if I have more questions. So let me check for how many people that have registered so far, how many slots I have. So I have 4 slots gone. I have just 6 left. 6 slots left for those taking advantage of the discounts for the first 10 people. Topper is saying, I'm confused about what to do. I wanted to change career from accounting to procurement, supply chain, and project logistics. Generative AI for data analytics. Just go for AI data analyst program, Topper. And I'll tell you the reason why. For somebody who wants to move into logistics or supply chain, there are so many areas you can come up with, so many career paths, so many different types of job you can get when you complement logistics, supply chain with AI analytics. You can work as a demand planner. You can work as a supply chain analyst, as a logistics analyst, knowing how to use AI. All right. Analytics is one of the best skills. If anybody who is in logistics comes to me today and says, hey, Adaiza, I want to upskill in 2026, what analytic field should I learn, or what skill should I add to my logistics skills at the moment? Data. Add data skills to what you know how to do, or better still, add AI data skills to what you know how to do, and you'd be a high demand professional within the job market. All right. So you shouldn't be confused in any way, Topper. I don't know if that helps, but that's what I'll suggest you need to go for. All right. You don't need to think, get confused on what to do, or think about it that, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? That's the best field for you to choose right now. I hope I answered your question, Topper. If you have a follow-up question, you can type it into the chat and I'll respond. And Joras is asking, if I want to pay 50K 3 times and I pay the first 2 nights, what's the time space remaining? You have to pay before you get into the final month. So if you start in July, you have July, August, and you're likely going to wrap up first week in September. So you want to complete your payment by the end of August. So before you start, this is June. You make your first payment in June, the next payment in July, and before the end of August, you're making your final payment. Okay. I have a BSc in health education. Which do you advise me to do? Currently, I'm a teacher. So you see this gentleman, let me show you somebody on my slide I showed you earlier. I showed you when I was trying to highlight a reference for you. Ahmed, he got a job with the NHS. The NHS is the healthcare service organization in the UK. They recruit the highest number of talents. So when it comes to public organizations in the UK, the NHS recruits the highest, about 1.3 to 1.5 million employees work with the NHS. Okay, because it's a healthcare organization, you have nurses, healthcare assistants, physicians, pharmacists, they work with the NHS, but you also have non-clinical roles, the healthcare analysts, the healthcare reporting analysts, the healthcare data analysts, the pathology data analysts. Do you know what these professionals have in common? They have knowledge of healthcare and they added data analytics to it. So when you take healthcare knowledge, healthcare experience, a master's in healthcare, you've worked in something related to healthcare as a care worker, as a support worker, and you include data analytics to it, that's when you start to compete for jobs like healthcare data analyst, healthcare reporting analyst, pathology data, and there's so many of them. All these roles I'm listing are the people that have gotten jobs with or with analytics, and this is exactly what they did. Some of them did not have experience in healthcare, but they did masters in public health in the UK. When they were doing their masters, they realized that there's no way I'll get a job after my masters because all the jobs I'm seeing requires the use of Excel, requires the use of Power BI and SQL and so on. But nobody's teaching me these things in my masters. So what did they do? They joined our data analytics and they got jobs like this gentleman who is a health informatics support worker. Got a job with the NHS last year. That's exactly what he did. All right. So what you need to do, Alfred, is you take your healthcare education, you add AI data analytics to that, and you can compete for these type of jobs. Okay. How about someone with the goal of becoming a data engineer? So that's a different ball game entirely. So as a data engineer, currently, the AI data analyst program will give you understanding into the data ecosystem, okay, what the data ecosystem is all about. But as a data engineer, you're not going to get data engineering from any of the programs I've listed. If you want to do data engineering, you can still do that with us, but that's a different package entirely. That will cost you $1,000, 1,000 US dollars. Okay, in Naira, that's about 1.4 million Naira. So it's not, part of this package at all. And as a data engineer, you start with understanding the data infrastructure. You are responsible for building the data infrastructure in any organization, right? Then you're going to learn how to use SQL. You move from basic level SQL to advanced level SQL. You'd use SQL to build the data infrastructure within the organization, all right? Then you learn Python. You use Python to build your ETL pipelines, and you'd also use Python to, automate some of the process of building the pipelines. You'd learn Linux for your bash scripting and so on and so forth. You're also going to learn cloud engineering. So you get to learn tools like how to use AWS, Google Cloud Platform, GCP, and Microsoft Azure. Okay, you'd learn automation, you'd learn scheduling and orchestration as a data engineer. So that's a different, program entirely. All right. So not part of what you get from what I've said today. But if you want to do that with us at Analytics, it is $1,000 US. So you can see the fees are totally different from your AI data analyst and the rest. Okay. That number, so you can send you can send to Uchechukwu. Okay, send to Uchechukwu. That's Adewoye. If you're struggling to find that number, it's on WhatsApp, but if you're struggling to find the number on WhatsApp, just send to Uchechukwu. Uchechukwu's number is 07054066605. I have 2 slots left. I have 8 people who have made payments, and I have just 2 slots left. And I'll be wrapping up my session in the next 2 minutes after answering the questions I had. There are any other questions I haven't responded to yet? Alfred said, please, I wish to pay next tomorrow. Drop the details. Unfortunately, Alfred, that's totally dependent on availability of slots. If all the slots are gone today, you can pay tomorrow, but you'll be paying 250,000 naira. Okay. All right. Do we have more questions? If we don't have more questions, I'll be calling it a day. Let me see if there's any question I've not answered yet. I have intermediate knowledge in data science and data analytics. So if that's the case, Alabi, then what you need to do to get to data engineering is the things I've mentioned: SQL, Python for your ETL pipelines, cloud engineering, Linux for your bash scripting. You'd learn orchestration, scheduling using tools like Apache Spark, Apache Airflow for your orchestration and scheduling and automating your pipelines. You'd learn Apache Spark, you'd learn Apache Airflow, and so on and so forth. Okay, so those are the things you need to do. Go to Tenalytics website and then search for it. You get to see the full package of what that comes with. But it's $1,000 US. I think I've answered all the questions in the chat. All right, so I'm going to call it tomorrow is Saturday. Tomorrow is a weekend. If you've gotten value for your time today, the time you spent with us today, you've gotten value for your time, give me the thumbs up. Fantastic. Timidayo, Endurance. Adewoye, don't worry. Once you sent it to Uche, she's going to confirm it for you. All right. So on or before Monday, you will get a response from Uche. So you don't need to fret. You are in good hands. All right. Samuel giving the thumbs up. Absolutely fantastic. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. For those of you that joined us today, for those of you starting on the 4th of July, I have 2 slots left to make 10 people. For those of you starting on the 4th of July, I look forward to working with all of you to help you get you to that desired, outcome. Okay, so thank you very much for joining. Have a wonderful weekend. Adewoye, Uche has responded to you. She just sent that in the chat right now. Have an amazing time, and I look forward to working with all of you. If you haven't registered, even at the end of the session, you can go ahead and register. I look forward to working with every single one of you. Cheers, everyone, and have an amazing time.